Oh man, it sure would be nice to have all those new Thomas toys people are talking about. I sure can't wait for those to. Oh wait, it's my turn now. Alright, so this literally just got dropped off at my front door, and I snatched it right away. So let me get it out of its Amazon shipping box, since the links went up literally yesterday, if I recall correctly. I'm pretty sure. Oh, come on. Oh, that's much smaller than I expected. Alright, here it is. This is the Exploring Tidmouth Sheds train set, and it comes with Harold and Thomas here. These are the new reboot designs. Make your jokes about Harold now. And here is our look at what will be stock standard diecast Thomas, even though I'm pretty sure one that comes in this set is a plastic version. Considering this is designed by the people that make all the Cars diecasts now, that's not exactly shocking. Alright, first off, I love the box design. I'm very happy that it's an actual, train set, no crazy roller coaster shenanigans. Alright, on the left side of the box we have a piece count, a bunch of different languages. In the back of the box is a nice little tour of the sheds, and the whole set there. I don't know why they put the trains on the ground like that. That's weird. And the right side of the box is just the CGI render that we've had the only thing, pretty much the only thing we've had any sort of look at. There's the Mattel logo down there. Fisher Price. Let's look at the bottom of the box. Oh, come on. Alright, there's the bottom of the box. Nothing. Oh, hey, Amazon covers this up with a sticker. Usually there's supposed to be like the Thomas going uphill kind of thing for the bar there. I do like how these aren't open, exposed in the air, and that they're in this nice, pretty sturdy, ice cube, plastic, whatever you want to call it. And going along with being designed by the Cars diecast team is the box itself. Actually now has an easy open tab. I don't recall many Thomas sets having this, although there's probably a bunch of reboot sets that... Camera's going to get a little screwy for a moment. Excuse me. Alright, so that's how everything comes packed in the box. I'm sure you can see the entire base of the sheds here, and colored instructions, no less. Like I was saying, I'm not sure if this new, easy open tab thing has been a part of, the other, All Engines Go sets or not, because I didn't buy any of those. Correction, I bought, 2 of those. I don't remember either of them having them. So there's our full part count and design, and the instructions look like now. I'm very happy they're in color, because I'm sure for some that struggle, this will come in very handy. They also include adapters that go from the original, older style Trackmaster 2 track on the left to the new stuff on the right. So go ahead and move out of the way. Here is the sticker sheet. Alright, nothing too crazy, bunch of workmen. They go to some part of the set, doors, Tidmouth. Here is the upper part of the sheds. Looks just like a bunch of random stuff there. And an office where if you look just closely, you'll see a picture of Duke on the wall. Going along with the rest of this is... This is not. This is the little extra accessory pieces, which we will get into that. Here is the base of the shed. This thing is huge. This is way bigger than I thought it was going to be. That, or they've just got these so tightly packed in the box. Here is our turntable. These don't appear to do much of anything yet. It looks like you just use your hand. Or I guess you use that, but it's not on a solid surface. I do like how it does click. You can have it rest here, but it does snap back in place. Very happy to see that. This is the crossing piece and the track adapter, which unfortunately is only one. I wish they would have included two, considering when Hit Toys Trackmaster took over, they included two in their sets. When Trackmaster 2 took over, they also included two adapters in their sets. I guess that's a bit of a lost art, unfortunately. But hey, at least they included one at all. I'm sure they'll probably have some mail order or customer service thing that you can call and order more. At least I hope so. Here's what the side of the sheds looks like. I quite like how that looks. The red here is painted on. It's not printed, is it? No, that is painted. No UV printing or anything like that. I'll go ahead and take a look at the windmill. Ooh, that's a very solid piece. There's the inside of that. Oh, yep. I guess when they put the engines on that special piece of track, it pushes this in. Huh. Do I have a bad copy? Or it's probably just because it's not a part actually attached to the set, but... Huh, pushing that button in doesn't seem to do much of anything at the moment. Alright, the rest just appears to be... Oh, there's the base to the bridge. Looks like more shed pieces. Here we go. Here's the windmill piece that does include the two car park spots. Oh, they even put stairs up to it, so it's not just a hill. Huh, I never noticed that. I quite like that. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get everything stickered up, put together. I'll get some other things out for comparison, and we will go from there. And before I get much further, actually, they actually make it pretty easy to get the engines out. You just lift this tab up, and there they are right there. You only have to remove just two rubber bands, it looks like, to get your brand new fellas out. Alright, now here's the entire set up. Out of that small of a box, it actually does take up quite a bit of real estate, which is pretty cool. I have everything set up here. One thing I will warn people about is the stickers kind of really do suck. They really don't want to stay on. I don't know if I just got unlucky with my copy of the stickers or what, because one of the workman figures inside the Tidmouth Sheds building decided it wanted to rip for me. But we'll get to that when we come to the actual shed itself. Now here's the full spread, the shed, the heliport, windmill, bridge, crossing, and you do get a switch that lets you go to other older sets or any of the other sets that are going to come out this year, and you get a road to surface ramp. Now, I've brought out a bit of a spread of vehicles here. I'm just sure you've heard me not shut up about cars in this video, but we'll get to that. First, I wanted to check the older Thomas stuff. So we'll start... Well, the older stuff we'll get to. This is the Thomas that comes in the set. Here's the front, the side, the rear, the other side, if the camera will focus. He is all plastic with printed decals. I don't think there is anything on here that is a sticker, thankfully. He's not super heavy. He's not like super light. He has just enough weight that I think you can get away with. Excuse the camera, it does not know what it wants to do. Visually, he looks great. It's the same printing method that they do with the plastic Disney cars. Of course, since this is the set that he's designed with, I mean, obviously he's going to work just fine on it, so I don't feel like we need to demonstrate that, but I will just for the sake of doing so. Now, with this new kind of wider gauge of track, he has a fair bit of room to slide around, which I think with the bigger engines, I don't think their bogies and such are articulated like the diecast or the motorized ones are going to be, which hopefully the curves being a lot wider than they are will make up for that, and those new bigger engines won't get stuck on corners. But we will go back to the most recent version. Before this is the 80th anniversary push-along stuff. My camera is really not wanting to focus. Now, a little bit wider. They do use the same wheel design, I believe. Oh wait, this one's got counterweights. This one doesn't. Huh, so I guess the wheels aren't the same. So this just pretty much just came out last year, and of course he's got the same gauge thing. He goes along seemingly just fine. I don't think there's any issues with him, really. You should be able to trip the windmill a little bit easier, and as you can see, my copy is having problems starting, but we will get to that. It goes around the tracks just fine. I don't think there's any real issue with older style push-alongs. And speaking of push-alongs, here is a reboot, All Engines Go Thomas, and of course, same chassis, same design as that one effectively. Of course, he's going to work just fine. That was a little mean with him. I mean, it's really not a bad toy, just wasn't really my thing. I'm glad we've gotten back to a actual train thing. Now, interestingly, I wanted to try stuff I grew up with, which would be the Thomas Diecast Take-Alongs. This is an interactive version, but that shouldn't mess with anything at all. This one does have a bit of a bent axle in the front. And shockingly, Take-Along works just fine. Now, it doesn't have as much wiggle room, so I'm sure the bigger engines will probably struggle, but as far as I can tell, older Take-Along stuff also works on this track just fine. This one's a bit of a long shot here, but here's an original Ertl Thomas, 1984 with the paper face. No real reason why I picked this one, just I guess for the face variety. Now, I don't think this one will work, but yeah, no, Ertl, I can't confirm Ertl stuff will not work. It does not. The chassis isn't wide enough to get over the two center rails here, so unfortunately, you can't use Ertl stuff on this, which is not a shock considering all of those. I mean, that's a 40-year-old toy at this rate, and most of the tender engines in that range, their tenders are permanently connected, so you won't be getting very far with those anyway, unless you have a layout full of nothing but straight track. Now, I want to talk about Harold here. Go ahead and get comfortable real quick. Alright. Pull up someone to use for a camera stand, because I don't actually have a tripod or anything. Alright, this shot of the sheds will work just fine. That'll be perfect. Alright, let me get in here and show you Harold. Now, I really don't know how to feel about this new version of Harold. He's very light, he's very plasticky. His face is very odd. I mean, overall, it's got the Harold shape and such down, but I really don't know about this livery. I don't know about the two rotors when every version before him and most Harold toys have three. He's also very light, and his windows aren't painted in either, which is a bit of a shame there. I mean, he is just a plastic version, so I think the diecast collection has a Harold, I think. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm sure we'll get a better version of him soon, but for now, this will do. It's also quite small, I feel like, in comparison to Thomas anyway. I feel like Harold should be just a smidge bit bigger than that. You know, get them properly in shot. Yeah, I don't know, he just feels a bit, doesn't feel wide enough. I think the height is fine, but I think that's mostly brought on by the weird post here. And of course, he does have a spot on the set, which is right up there. Move Thomas back. Bring him back down here for comparisons. Now, I don't have a whole lot of Harold toys. He isn't, like, exactly a character that comes to mind first, but I do have a Hit Toys Harold, which is a little dirty in his face, so please excuse that. Now, he's very different. I mean, he's still all plastic and such, but he's much bigger. He's got a lot more painted detail, like on his rotors, on his rear rotor. Both sides of that are red. He doesn't have that on this new one. Also, and again, I don't know. Having only two blades on a Harold just feels weird. I think it would look a lot better with three. And, of course, even this one's windows are painted in. And, of course, the faces. Oh, let me get them actually properly in the shot. There we go. I don't know. I wish Harold would have stuck to a more traditional design, but, you know, new show, new continuity, this, that, and the other thing. Can't exactly get everything you want. Some characters are inevitably going to look a little weird. And here's one that I feel like proportionally is pretty close to him anyway. This is a Tomy Harold. This is, I think, specifically... I don't know if this is one that flies around stations or if this is one that sits on that one little stop track, but as you can see, while his rear rotor doesn't move, this one does, but those both don't have the painted detail. This Herald does not have the painted detail, but it does have it molded into the blade, if the camera will focus. Don't think the camera is going to focus for me. Come on. I would like to show that off. I mean, even when it's blurred. I really need to invest in an actual, camera. You could kind of see it with the way the light reflects off of it there. But he does have the 3 little stripes molded in. So he does have that detail, and his windows are even painted. I don't know why painting windows is such a hard thing to do for Mattel. I don't know why, because even Thomas doesn't have his windows painted, or his whistle painted, even. And I know the Ertl toy just used a sticker for that, but at least the detail is still there. I mean, the Take-Along Thomas doesn't have the windows, but has a painted whistle. Even the All Engines Go Thomas has a molded whistle. I mean, it's not painted, it's just cast in yellow plastic, but it's still a 3D separate piece. And the 80th Thomas that they just came out with, this just came out last year, has all of the same details, including painted buffers. I get this is a die-cast one, and this is just sort of a throwaway plastic one to be put in the set, but as someone's first impression, it is a little disappointing. Although I still really like him. I think proportionally the body looks fantastic, the wheels look great. It's not bad. There are some... It's really just the whistle thing in the windows that bum me out, because other than that, everything else is already printed on here except the buffers and the windows. It's really all they needed, but I'll stop whinging for now, and we'll get to some of the play pattern of the set. Alright, we'll go ahead and start with the windmill. Alright, now when Thomas is making his way along through the set, he stops, or I guess while he goes along, this piece of track, you press it down, and the windmill is supposed to go. Now, unfortunately, my copy is actually a bit damaged straight from the factory. This blade of the windmill here is actually bent inward, so it's hitting right in front of that door there. It'll still go through, but to use the actual play feature of this, I'm going to have to bend this back. And you can see, if I put it up to the light, there's already plastic distress there. So I think, yeah, and if I try to bend it back, it gets even worse. So, but on camera, oh, you can really get that to go if you really press that down. See, now that I've bent it back, but still, that's a lot of plastic distress on a brand new toy, and even this one right here has some issues with it. I mean, it's just really disappointing to see straight from the factory that I already had to bend a piece of it back in place, and which has also damaged it even more. So this is one I'm just going to have to be really careful with, unfortunately. Now, as we've been talking about here with the parking lot thing, I just chose a random variety of vehicles. There really was no, specific method or whatever, but here is an old Tomy Birdie. He's been on the wide side. 1995 toy. It's pretty old at this point. Let's see if he can fit. Yep, he fits and actually has quite a lot of room there. An old Ertl toy. This is about the closest thing I've got to a Hot Wheel on hand, shockingly. Of course, he's going to fit just fine, and he doesn't look too bad there. The Take-Along Fat Controller's car. Now, of course, that's going to work. But the funny part about this is Lightning McQueen here, is a lenticular 155 scale diecast from 2010. They still make this mold, maybe not with this feature anymore, but they still make regular Cars 1 Lightning McQueen diecasts that have this mold. And he fits in perfectly. And that's where the Cars team designing this set that I mentioned earlier comes into play, because they've really have thought about just about everything here. Now, usually when sets like this are designed by Mattel, they only keep the Hot Wheels in mind, and car stuff sort of gets kicked to the side. But, hey, would you look at that? Lightning McQueen, if he wants to, can hang out on the island of Sodor at the windmill with Thomas. And as someone who's a really, really big fan of these franchises, and these franchises that mean a lot to me, that's pretty cool to see them be able to be compatible in some sort of official capacity. And now, here's a bit of a long shot. This is the Bandai Tex Bulgy, and he's a little bit dirty, and on his face he's got a little bit of dirt there, but he is heavy, he's from a whole different country, he's from like 30 years ago, if the camera will focus, and he's pretty wide. Now, I don't know if this one's going to work or not, but we'll give it a shot, at least here on the windmill part. And would you look at that 30-year-old giant heavy diecast bus from the other side of the planet does have functionality here. I do think that's pretty cool. Now, while the windmill has this great compatibility with toy cars, and I know it's not a whole lot, I mean, this isn't anything that crazy, the same cannot be said for the crossing here. Now, we'll go thinnest to widest. Here's the thinnest one we've got here, the Ertl Birdie. Ertl Birdie, he'll go through that just fine. You know, since he's Hot Wheels sized, most vehicles are going to be able to make it through that crossing no problem at all. What about the Fat Controller's car, who is just a little bit wider? Let's see if he can make it through the crossing. Now, he's got some wiggle room, but it is starting to get pretty tight through there. Of course, you can go across the rails just fine. Now, here's the Tommy Birdie. And that's really tight through there, but he can still make it. And of course, he has just the tiniest little bit of wiggle room, but he can still go through. What about Lightning McQueen? Can he do it? He can't. They didn't. Now, while they made the parking lot spots compatible with wider diecast cars and vehicles, they did not make the crossing. So if you want Lightning McQueen to go through, he is going to have to wall ride a little bit. And that's kind of unfortunate, because that doesn't exactly bode well for Bulgy here, now does it? Now, if you have an Ertl one, it'll fit just fine. Him and Birdie are about the same width apart. I'm kind of shocked, actually. Wow, he has no wiggle room, almost. But even Bulgy can make it through. He doesn't hit on the sign or anything, and that's another thing about this crossing. This sign, one, the sticker was a pain to put on, and two, it will not stay in that slot. Everything else on this set clicks in perfectly. Like the lifting bridge here that I haven't shown off yet. This clicked in just fine. I have no issues with it. I don't have to fear about it being able to, or it popping right off. That sign is the bane of my existence. And while we're talking about diecast car compatibility, as long as it's on this one, everyone will fit through just fine. Like, Lightning McQueen, he's the widest one here. I mean, this is fine. This is fine. Why is this the only piece that doesn't have this kind of compatibility? And the stickers on this set, there's every little extra detail you see on this set that isn't part of the sheds that are red and painted on is a sticker. Now, I'm going to disconnect Tidmouth sheds here so we can get a better look at it. This is the Tidmouth sheds building. Unfortunately, mine is a little bit bent, sort of like the windmill. I can't get this turntable to sit completely flush. There is no stop and go for the motorized engines. There is a divot here, so engines don't go flying off when you're turning them around. But it is kind of unfortunate they didn't include the stop-go feature. I don't know why these are here. I know these are handles to turn them, but I don't think they needed to be able to be spun. I do like the new connections. This is another thing I'm sure people are going to get upset about is this is only 3 bursts, which is a shame, because the Mattel one before this, Trackmaster 2, that was 3. I think they made another one that was 3 before that. When Mattel had Trackmaster 1 going, they had a version of the sheds that was 5, and Hit Toys was 6 berths. And I really love the Hit Toys Tidmouth sheds. That one's really good. But we'll turn it around. You see, you got all of these little features here. You got tracks you can lift up to get the engines back out. You know, you've got some detail, sticker detail on there. There is recessed detail put into the plastic. I'll even turn the flashlight on. Yeah, there is recessed detail that's a part of the mold on both sides. So it's like there's no painted detail, but it is all textured. If you run your finger across it, you can feel it. And again, that I don't really quite get what this is for. It's designed like it's a railway piece, but it goes nowhere. But it does have this neat little lifting feature. I know this, I've seen some pictures where this has come apart pretty easy, so I would be kind of careful with that piece. This garage piece here, or on the side of it, you know, pretty much every die-cast vehicle should be able to work in here. Birdie, where's the Fat Controller's car? The Fat Controller's car. Tommy Birdie. Yep, he'll fit in there just fine. Oh, Lightning McQueen, since this is a lot wider, he'll fit in there too. Bulgy, I mean, again, he's pretty wide, he's pretty tall. He also fits in there pretty well. Now, he can't, like, sit in there super flush. Eventually, he will roll back out, but he also works in there. The human figures are neat. I'm glad they're here. Unfortunately, the stickers are kind of bad, so... I don't know, I had such bad luck with the stickers. They were a pain to put on, and they tear really easy. They are weirdly ratcheted as a part of the base. You can kind of switch them around, but you have to have a lot of force to really pop this out. I know I'm using one hand, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get that out for the video, but you might be able to switch them around. I haven't been able to do it myself, just because once these are in, they're really hard to get out. That's one more complaint I have about the set, is that none of this stuff is really designed to come apart once it's put together. Like, you can't really start pulling things apart. Like, you can't pull the sides of the turntable, you can't really pull the roof off, and once these are apart, once everything's clicked together, you're not going to be able to get it back apart. And that's really the only thing I don't... Even the turntable won't split from that base. I mean, overall, I think it's a great set. There's some growing pains with this. I know this toy range just started. I mean, if you've seen any video, if you've been following along on any videos or anything of people that have gotten stuff early, there is some quality control issues, not particularly with the die-cast stuff. This seems to be the most consistent part of the new toy range, but I know the motorized engines are coming out of the factory with no lube on the motors. The motors are really weak. So hopefully, I mean, it's growing pains for a new toy range. Hopefully they'll get all of the kinks ironed out, but for now, I'd say this set is pretty good if you can find it online or in store for a not ridiculous reseller price. I know some people have been paying upwards of like $100, $150, $200 for this set, and that is ridiculous. I got this off Amazon for, I think, exactly $46, and I'm not even sure that was like the full price because I also ordered one of the motorized engines as well. But the big thing with this is just wait until it hits the stores. Don't blow a bunch of money getting it early. They're on Amazon now. You just gotta wait. You just have to be patient. Other than that, that was my look at the 2026 Tidmouth Sheds, or the Exploring Tidmouth Sheds train set for the new Thomas reboot that we're doing again. It is a really fun little set. I can't wait to incorporate some of these pieces into other things, like my layout at the moment. I might swap out the Steamworks for this. We'll see how easy that is. I hope you enjoyed watching. I'm a little bit new-ish to reviewing sets themselves, individual things, like if I don't drop it, like Thomas there, I'm used to. But this was a little bit new. I hope you guys enjoyed it anyway. And that was my look at the Exploring Tidmouth Shed set. Thank you for watching, and again, I hope you enjoyed it. Look at that guy.